So I'm always coming up with different types of solar fountains. I love going to thrift stores and looking around, but I don't think my dog thinks so much about my new fountain in the back. And you know what? I felt the same way. When I put this out, I was about ready to take it apart, but then I thought, let's give it a little more time and have patience. So we're going to see what happens. But this is where I got it. I went to the thrift store and I looked through all their things. Isn't that cool? They have so many beautiful glassware and there's so many things you can do with it. And this was too cute. This I had to buy. I'm putting that in my kitchen window because I'm going to build a little garden on my kitchen windowsill. So that is just too cheap. And they have sales on certain days. I went on a sale day. I think it was 25% off. Now look at all this stuff. If you step back and look at it, you will see there's a million things you can do with this. I mean, you could go through all of them and make all kinds of stuff, whether you're using it for just your household stuff or making a solar fountain or even in the garden. But there is just always so many things, fun finds at a thrift store. And then I found this. Look at that. That is a chip and dip tray. Now, there's a couple things wrong with it. Its price is pretty good. Can you spot what's wrong with it? Well, to me, it's not round and it's not square. It's kind of oblong. So I was thinking of getting that bowl, and I tried it. I looked at it. I spent a lot of time there deciding I could put it together this way. I could use it with the lid. I could use it without the lid. And it will work. And maybe I should have gotten the bowl, but I'll tell you what, I didn't get the bowl. But see how the shape is? If I make holes, it may not go down right. But then I found this bus tray. And I thought, you know, I can sit it on top of this strainer, this colander, and that will hold it up. I'm going to tell you, I didn't buy the colander. And maybe I should have, but I did not. But I did buy the bus tray. They're nice and heavy. It's a little kind of deeper than I normally make. But for $4 and then 25% off, I went ahead and decided I'm going to go with that. So there it is. And now you're going to see how I'm going to set this up. Normally I do close-ups, you can watch me step by step, but since you can't really find one of these, you can use a regular chip and dip, but those are round, those are easy. We'll make that another day. I'm just going to go ahead and talk it through as I do it, because this is how I make a lot of my fountains, kind of analyzing as I go. So this will be done differently, a different format than the normal way I make fountains. I'm going to put this sombrero on this bus tray. So this will go on like this. We're going to use all we need here is the long panel. I can put this somewhere else. Oh, it's getting windy now. Usually I do this inside. Okay, so we only need, don't start burping, it's doing its thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the sombrero. This is very different. I've never made one like this before. So, the first thing I think I'm going to do, I can't make that quiet. Oh, I know why. See the glass on the table? It's reflecting the sunlight. So I'm going to move this right now. Hold on, because I don't want it in the sunlight. We don't need it yet. First thing I want to do is I want to see how I'm going to attach the sombrero to this. I've got a screw, and see how the screw goes through the hole? I showed you the hole. But I want it to hold the hat in place. So the hat's going to go on like this. And we're going to make a hole. I'm going to figure out where the best place is. Really should have marked it. And we're going to try to make sure the hat is on both sides because that's what's going to hold it unless I put something on it later. I'm going to try to eyeball this. Hopefully I got it right. So let's see. If this works, I'll make the hole bigger. Oh, I can screw it on. Look at that. It worked. Okay, so this is going to hold it where it won't fall. Isn't that cool? Now I could put a rock or something underneath, but we're going to have our pump. So now we're going to have to use the pump. So now we're going to get close to that. I'm going to put the straw in the middle. So I'm going to make a hole for the straw. This is like really raw, you know, I'm doing this. Oh, it's on. You know, this is how I normally do it. I take my time, usually on a better table than this, but that's all right. Now I'm slowly making the hole. I can show you. Hopefully big enough for the straw. Not too big, but that's okay if it's too big. But I'm not going to make any holes here right now. Let me put this on my metal chair. Nope, not yet. I can see it needs to be bigger. Smoother holes are when you work on the back of your plastic projects. So this way it gets bumpy with the plastic from the heated plastic. On the other side stays nice and smooth. Keep that in mind when you're making, let's say, you know, like your hummingbird feeders. I make holes. I do it from the inside out. Yeah, look at that. We can pull it through and cut it. Now I'm going, I can leave that. What I'm going to do here is I am going to pull it as far down as possible. Wow, we're going to blow away everybody. So this is going to be more of a bubbler. And then I'm going to kind of scratch up, let me scratch up the top a little bit because I don't want it smooth. I want the hummingbirds to be able to land on that. This is for hummingbirds. Of course, the orioles are going to take it over. Just a little bit. Whenever you make holes and when you're making your fountain, make sure the holes are going into your reservoir. Because if I made the holes on the outside here and it filled up with water and went out, your water will go out. So I'm going to look at this. I can't do, you know what, we're going to have to put the pump in first. Let's shut this off for a minute and let's do the pump because I want to cut this right. So I've got to get an idea on how, boy, this really needs to be cut a lot. I'm going to give a little extra on the top. So I can see, you know, let's just start cutting. I make a mistake. I've got so many straws. And looks like a couple inches there. About there. Let's see. That might work. Okay, now I think this one, I'm going to have to add on. Oh, I'll cut it from the top now. So let's do it that way. First of all, I'm going to have to make this a little thicker. Like I've showed you before, we're all going to blow away. So it's really tight. That's pretty tight. That's good. This is totally, well, it's never scripted, but this is really unscripted because I'm just came out here with it and threw it on the deck here and thought, I'm going for it. All right, so now we've got the pump underneath. This can come out anywhere, it doesn't matter. And that's perfect. I can cut this shorter later, I can leave it. We're done. We're pretty much done. Now this should stay nice and still. I think I'm gonna put some rocks and stuff in there and I can stable this with something too later. I could make a hole here or put a clamp, but I'm trying to think of easy, like just to grab it and wash it. That's my thought. I do want to shorten that straw, and I could do it when I set it up. I want to make sure I've got this exactly where I want. Yep. Boy, this is cool. All right, now I gotta heat this up again. I want the water to, oh, there we go. Do I want to make a waterfall, or do I want it to dribble out? That is a big decision. If I want to make a waterfall, I could cut away the hat and then it will fill up in here and pour out. But if I want like little bush tits or let's say goldfinches or something to come in and bathe on here while hummingbirds are bathing here, then I would just put holes here. And I'm going to keep the holes here and I'm not going to put any holes in the back. So let's go ahead and go for it. I think I cooled down my soldering iron too much. Let's go ahead. Oh, well, the pump is on. Oh, now the sun is starting to come out again. Now, if you're looking for these solar fountain kits, I put the links on the places I buy from underneath. Always check the links though, because sometimes I have nothing to do with the companies. I don't know them. I just buy from them. Sometimes they change the products and they can put in the round one. You don't want the round solar fountain kit. It's not even a kit, it's just a disc. You want the one with the long cord. All right, so the hat's gonna go on like this. I had to use a screw. I could have used a nail on the other side. I would have slipped in better. All right, and then if I want, I could make a little divot here. So if it fills, I don't know if I want to do that now. I could go back and make a divot, and then it will give it a waterfall effect. I could cut out a piece of the hat. I'm just not sure how fast it will fill up and how fast it will come down. See, I could make a divot there. Then it will pour out this way. You want to make sure the water doesn't go out here because it will go over. We're done. Now all we have to do is I would put some rocks in here. You can even set a plant in there. But it's going to have multiple places for these birds to take a bath. They're going to be able to take a bath on the hat. They're going to be able to take a bath on the top. And I think we got a lot of holes right now. What I'm going to do is I am going to cut a notch. Because I want to make sure if this overflows, it goes out. I keep putting this here so it's not burping, but let's get a notch cut. We know the hat's going to sit like this. So we'll have like a waterfall effect. And we'll just cut out a notch. So I figured I'll just do this for fun. You'll see how I do it, and I think as I'm working. So now if the hat starts to fill up even on that side, it's going to come out. Because see what I did here? I made a big notch here. And we'll smooth it out a little bit. All right, let's go. Let me go get this rinsed. And I'm anxious to see this. I'm going to go get this set up. Okay. This is going to sit like this. I've got this. Okay, so I'm going to tuck this underneath the sombrero. Oh, well, that's all right. I'm going to put the wire this way. That's fine. I think we're good. I might fasten it differently later. I'm not sure. Is my pump still on? Yeah. Pump. This pump has suction cups, so I can have that pump on there like that. Gonna fill it up. Then we'll see how this works. Got this plant in a food container, and there's no holes. So I could actually, isn't that cute? Of course, birds can't see the fountain. And I've got the material there. I can slide it down a little bit. Okay, this plant's a little big, but who knows? This is too big. Let me see. Let's set it the other way while it's filling up. There, it's out of the way. This is a pretty big plant. But you'll get the idea. We can get a smaller plant. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Hold on, let me shut the water off. We got enough water. And we have no sun, keep that in mind. Well, we have a little bit of sun. Look at this. Oh, now where is it going to overflow? Which way is it going to go? Here, let me get you closer because you and I can see this together. I'm so excited. Let's see, let me tilt you down. Look at this. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. Look at this. Okay, it's going out of the holes. It's not even reaching this. I didn't need this, so I could have waited. See, I jump the gun sometimes. But see now, they can, I hear the hummingbirds behind me. They're all going, yay, what'd she get for us? I could actually damage my plant a little bit. Look at this. It'll grow back. Look at this. Oh, this is fun. Now this is a little deep, so I want to get some rocks. Let me see if I got some rocks. I've got this one rock I can put in here. And I'll tell you what's wrong. See, so if a bird landed in here, it's got a rock. And there's something else I need to do. This plant needs water. So hold on. Oh yeah, that's perfect. There's no holes in that container. Yes, I'm growing houseplants without holes. Oh well, it works for me. You know, if I want to, I don't know if I'm going to leave the houseplant. If I would cut it. But you've got the idea of how pretty this is. I can also just tie it back. I'm going to get a different plant. Isn't that colorful and pretty? Oh my goodness, that leave's bent anyways. Look at that. I might leave it right now. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You got to see me make this on real time. And that's how I do my fountains. I just come home, I look at things. Is this gorgeous? I'm so glad I bought two. They actually had 4 of these hats, and I'm actually tempted to go back and see if they have any more. I've never seen this before. It's a chip and dip. So you would put your salsa in here and your chips around there. And I didn't need to make that many holes, but just in case, I still have that. In case it gets really hard, the pumping and stuff, but it probably won't. But either way, I know for a fact that it will run out this way. And look at this. Now we just have to wait and see if any birds come. They will, but right now I don't know where they are. They're hiding. It's kind of hot, but it's humid. So I went back and I added on a perch. I did it with a zip tie. Could use a wire because there's holes already in the bus tray. Kind of played with it that way. Then I thought about adding rocks, something that looks familiar for birds. And, well, they still didn't look at it. I started to put some food around it. I thought maybe that will bring them in, because if they come close to it eating food, then they'll know, hey, this may be something new, but it's not dangerous. So that was pretty good. It's a start. Think about that when you're putting something out, and if it's new and they don't like it or they're afraid of it, put something they really want, and food is one thing. And what did end up happening is Mama came with her baby, and I've never seen this before. She went into the bowl and she was feeding her baby chick 1 seed at a time. What she was probably doing is picking out the millet, and then she was hulling it, because they don't know how to hull it when they're little, and then handing it to the baby. So the baby would be familiar with, well, what kind of seeds to look for and what to eat. This was just like the cutest thing I'd ever seen. I've never seen a mother bird give 1 seed at a time. Usually they kind of regurgitate it and give them a little bit more, but I think this might be a learning process. Like, hey, this is what you're supposed to eat, shull it, and it's good for you. Because when you put seed out, you notice they hull it, they take the hard shell out. They don't eat the hard shells. They are only eating what's inside, which is really the seed. Isn't this precious? At this point, I didn't even care if anybody used the fountain. I was getting a little bit anxious because normally I put it out and the Orioles come and everything, but they've been going to the other water features I've got out, so they didn't really look at this. Is that not too cute? So that's a good tip. If you put out a new hummingbird feeder, put an old one next to it so they get used to looking at the new one. If you put out a new BirdBath and they're using the other ones, maybe sit it next to it for a while, and then once they start using it, you can move it. Same thing with bird feeders. If you've got a bowl and you went and got a fancy bird feeder, put your old one next to it. Once they start using it, then you can move it anywhere you want. So the birds were getting familiar with it. It only was out a few days. And then I changed things around. So now I've got a plant sitting inside, a different plant. Look, it's like, okay, I know this. Now they're familiar with it. It's like, oh, it's safe, it belongs here. So the first thing they did was jump on it and look at it. And then they start coming, taking drinks. They haven't used the perch I put on. You never know. You go to all this work and they use something else. Well, they can sit on the sombrero hat. It's roughed up, remember? So they can grab a hold of that and sit on that. They can sit on the side of the bus tray. Is this cute? I mean, I could get a nicer tray than a bus tray. You could take this whole thing and drop it in a planter or something. Have plants all the way around it. It would be like a mini pond. You could have this on a deck, a patio, anywhere. And see how they come to eat? This is why it's good to sometimes put something they want. And now he ate. Now he's thirsty. So now I need a drink of water. It's just too cute. So there's a lot of different things you can do if you put something new out and they're not using it. You can see the feeder in the back I made that's hanging. So they're familiar with that. Let me tell you something. The first tray I didn't like, I put the red tray in and they flew in there and they jumped back like, whoa, what was that? Now they know. Sometimes it takes a few days, and they've got good shelter on that back hanging one. I make those. You can go find the video on that too. But isn't this too cute? So they are coming in. They are using it now. They're flying from wherever they are to come in and get a drink. And it's good to know that they like it. I like it. I'm thinking of making a few more of these, or a couple more, and maybe changing the style up. Maybe I will use a bucket or something next time underneath. Hummingbird was going to come up to me while I'm standing here. So let me show you what I've done. I put a food tray in here. This is like what you get hamburgers from. You can get beef in there. You can get sometimes vegetables. It's a big tray, and it's kind of like, see how it is? It's upside down in there. You saw my other tray. I made the beautiful water feature out of it, the spa. So I've got it upside down, and then I took this plant and I stuck it here. So it's kind of an extra look. I should get a red flower. And then some rocks, and that's all there is to it. So you can change things up as they go. They are starting to use it, but the hummingbirds are being disrupted by all the orioles. And there's going to be a lot for the next month, and then they're going to be gone. In about 3 to 4 weeks, they'll be all gone, the orioles. They're going to go down to Mexico, and the hummingbirds will have a peaceful time for 6 months. So I hope you got something out of this. Think about things. If you see something you really like, analyze it, see if you can do a water feature out of it. If not, this would be even really cute setup just as a bird feeder. You could put different seeds up there, different treats, something down there. They'll feed up there, they'll feed here. There's a lot you can do with that. I mean, it's a chip and dip. It's for us to put our food in. Why not put some bird food in there? So either way, a cute bird feeder or a cute water feature. And like I said, I'm also thinking of using this as a mold. And I can make a cement feature out of this, which would even be really nice. And then I could reshape it a little bit because it's more oblong than a circle. And that's what makes it a little more difficult to work with. But it worked. Look at that. And the birds are getting used to it. More and more, I come out here, I see them all hanging around, drinking out of it. And rocks and branches around it always help the birds. And plus, they're familiar with it. So with that, have a wonderful day. You know, a lot of my videos are usually really in there showing you how to do it. But since this was kind of a raw footage type thing, and you can't all get this. And the other thing is, I wasn't sure what in the world I was going to do with it. So it's kind of like, let's just go for it. So you saw something very different than I usually put together. Or kind of like I used to do, I guess. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you're growing. Sometimes a little food on the side might entice them to come check out a water feature or even a new feeder you put out. Bye-bye.